Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan. I hope you're doing well today. Couple of things first and foremost. Number one, I'm super frustrated because I've recorded this review one time all the way through, 15 minutes of my life that I'll never get back, and then accidentally deleted it when I tried to do something else and delete some old videos I'd recorded before this. That's frustrating. Very, very frustrating. So I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna try. Number two, as you can tell, I'm in the new background sorta kinda, but I'm gonna have bookshelves and stuff up in the next few weeks ready to go. The move is not complete, but it's getting there. It's gonna be completed within a month or so. We're really struggling to get it all together. There's a lot going on, a lot of renovations and stuff we had to do that are now done. Lots of crazy things. But anyway, I wanted to thank you guys for the patience because, of course, the first 5 episodes of this Goosebumps 2023 boring, lame show came out last week on October 13th of 2023, and I just keep putting it off. I just keep putting it off. I just watched episode 5 yesterday before work, and then episode 6 last night, and safe to say, there's maybe 1 or 2 elements that improved and everything else did not, for me personally. But if you care, if you want to tune in, if that wasn't too big of a spoiler, hopefully you'll stick around. I think I'm still going to stick with kind of the vague spoiler stuff for these episodes because I just don't have much to say. Every episode just kind of goes in one ear and out the other. I couldn't possibly care any less at this point, especially after last night's episode 6. That's probably a controversial take. I think most of you will like that episode, but me, I'm not down for it. Anyway, talking about episode 3 from October 13th, 2023 of this Goosebumps show, this is called The Cuckoo Clock of Doom. Sorry, I almost called it Go Eat Worms, but that's episode 4. The Cuckoo Clock of Doom. I watched it last week, the same night I recorded the episodes for 1 and 2, or the reviews for episodes 1 and 2. And once again, I hated it. I think the same weaknesses from episode 1 and 2 are here and present. And I don't really think I like this more than the Haunted Mask episode. I don't really know. I've tried to think about it, but also my brain is at the age now where if something sucks, my brain just deletes it out of existence. That's what happens now. The older you get, kids, you'll see that. I'm not even in my 30s yet, but it'll probably happen. So anyway, talking about episode 3. What is this episode about being called the Cuckoo Clock of Doom? Well, of course, in Justin Long's house, we saw the Cuckoo Clock of Doom. And in one of the previous episodes, when we had the big Halloween party in the first episode, James got scared, fell over, hit his head on this thing, and now we have a Groundhog Day story. For any of you folks who have to be newcomers, first and foremost, thank you guys also, because we hit the 4,000 subs mark. I'm going to do a Q&A. Everybody seemed to want that on the poll I did, so I'll try to get that done probably this weekend, probably next weekend, somewhere in there, because I really want to thank you guys for all of the love and support you're giving the channel. Really appreciate you newcomers coming in. We got a lot of new ones since last week, so thank you guys for being here. God bless you. But there are 2 things for folks who don't know, the things that immediately rub me the wrong way in any kind of media, Goosebumps or otherwise. There are 2 formula types of stories that I hate. First and foremost is the shrinking person stories, but at least you can do some variations with that. Stein does that story type over and over and over again in Goosebumps. A lot of the time in the Give Yourself Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure books. And I hate it. I just don't like that storyline. Never been a fan of it my entire life of anything, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or otherwise. The other side of the story that I don't like is the weird Groundhog Day storyline. I'm the only person on the planet who hasn't seen Groundhog Day with Bill Murray as much as I love Bill Murray. I just don't want to see it because I hate the Groundhog Day concept of living the same day over and over and over again. The first half of this episode is basically dedicated to that. The other half is dedicated to the thing teased at the end of episode 2 called The Haunted Mask that I'll get more into in a moment. But this episode mostly is a Groundhog Day story. I'm also the only person on the planet who does not like Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise. Not a bad movie, just I couldn't care less. I don't like that story, and mainly because even as a slasher fan, I love horror movies, but I love slasher films. It's what I grew up on, aside from Goosebumps. In slashers, at least you can do some variations of really extreme comedy, really extreme gore, really extreme scares, or not so scary, and then you have average mid, as the kids say, crap. And you can at least do some variations, some cool things. You can even take a creature feature and make that into a slasher, and that's got a lot of variation to it. Shrinking person stories have some room to do some variations, maybe some nice twists, but usually you get the giant bug attacking the character or whatever, cats, that kind of thing. there's not much variation, but there is some you can do. The Groundhog Day story type, to me, is always stuck in a box, and I hate that about it. And this is no different. As soon as I found out that they took the cuckoo clock, as soon as I found out that they took the Cuckoo Clock of Doom, a phenomenal book from Goosebumps, and a really solid episode too, the fact that they took that and modified, once again, one of the monsters to do some things that are bizarre, that are not the traditional powers of that particular item, you just rubbed me the wrong way. They did it with Haunted Mask, they did it here, and they did it with something later on I want to talk about too, in another future episode review coming up. Hopefully I can do it this weekend, but we'll see. This episode focusing on James is a bummer, because the writing has been so subpar on this show, and so pathetic and bad in my opinion, that the show has been boring. It seems to me, if I had to bet, the writer's room sucks to begin with for this show. They have no real idea what they want to do with the scripts or the characters or anything. You have stereotypes of all of these different characters, and I think it's a massive shame because it seems to me like the writers aren't doing their job, and they're trying to pull an MCU and beg these really young people making this show that are all in their 20s to improv their way through the show. The James character, all right, could have been fine. Could have been a cool character. And they have given this actor, I don't know the name, nothing to do. And I feel bad about it. I feel bad for all of these actors because, again, I'll give a great example. Nightmare Fueled Entertainment put up a video yesterday about the show so far. And I agree 100% with what he said on the phrase he used. I am so neutral about these characters. The only time I feel anything about any of them is, aside from Lucas, which I'll get to in the next episode review, aside from that, all of these different characters, I just feel so neutral too. It's not a hatred for the actors. Not that I think they're all really good actors or anything. It's just, it's not a hatred for them. It's that the writers are relying on them to improv their way through the episodes, if I had to bet. These guys just, they can't pull that off. And very few people, mind you, can pull off improv. They can't. That's why you see a lot of content on YouTube that are, if they're unedited like mine, usually like my videos, they're not that good. But you have people who edit the hell out of everything, and it just feels so corporate, you know? And this show feels like that. Not everybody has the improv talent. It's a very, very small skill that not many comedians nowadays even have, which they used to be filled with back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, even the 2000s for that matter. But not anymore. And Hollywood is constantly, to me, relying on these actors to do the writer's room's job, when the actors are just supposed to take the script and work. You know, and back in the day you had improv and different things like Star Wars and whatever. That's not a big deal. You know, Mace Windu, Mr. Sam Jackson himself, wanted a purple lightsaber. That wasn't in the script. You know, it's not a big deal for the improv stuff. And that's a little bit different from traditional improv like I think is being done here, this MCU wannabe crap. But look at people like Brie Larson, who can't pull off improv at all. And she tries. And she does not succeed at it at all. This show is a great example of one that, to me, are cheaping out on the writers to try to make the actors account for their jobs. No, you're doing two jobs. That's the problem here. These characters, including James, have nothing to do. These actors have nothing to do. The show is boring because of it, because there's no real plot. If you told me, if it came out 20 years down the road, that this show was written by AI, I would not be surprised. Not that I really have a problem with that, because of the kind of quality and media and stuff we've been getting the last few years. But if you told me that was the case, this is the first ever truly AI written, produced show, I would not be surprised at all, because of how low the quality of standard on writing is for this show, and how it misunderstands the monsters so much that it just seems like nobody human did any kind of research at all, despite Rob Letterman being involved, who brought us the movies, and so on and so on. Let me go in this direction now. The Groundhog Day story, again, is the first half of the episode. The Halloween party, basically the moment that James hit his head, he keeps waking up over and over again with this. You have his love story stuff. That is what it is. It's typical, like a lot of people keep saying, Riverdale teen fodder. It's not that interesting to me. I don't care about teen drama. I wanted a scary children's horror show that, with the budget they had, they could have done something incredible with, but no, we're going to focus on teen drama. Who wants this? Who honestly wants this, you know? I know it's got its fans, and if you like the show, that's fine. I'm not going to hate on you for liking the show. I only go after people in my comments that come at me with bad faith arguments and name-calling and all of that. I'll blast you in a heartbeat. But the people who have talked to me off and on for years and have commented on a lot of my videos, I'm not going to come after you for saying you like the show. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad you are. Like I said to my friends last night in the Discord, The Night of the Living Dummy episode came out last night, episode 6, and I told them flat out, I hate it, but I think a lot of you guys will like it. I say the same thing right now. Maybe the show is taking that direction now. I don't know, now that we're getting weekly episodes instead of a big episode dump. But this show has nothing left for me at this point. But I'm only on episode 3 I'm talking about right now. Let's talk about the other half of the episode. At the end of episode 2, Isabella was playing pool with James. She hit a ball too high with the stick on the pool table, and the ball hit James and he exploded into monster blood, or Nickelodeon slime. And the WTF moment I experienced at that particular moment was something I had to share with my friends. And I contacted them immediately after they saw the episode, and we all felt about the same. This episode is mostly a little bit of a play on The Perfect School, which is a 2-parter episode from back in the day from the 90s show, but it's based on a Tales to Give You Goosebumps short story from R.L. Stine. And Perfect School, I like the story better than I do the actual episode adaptation. It's not bad, it's just really bland in my opinion, about on par with this show, but at least it has some charm unlike this show. And a lot of the second half of this episode are focused on James and this clone storyline thing. And I just don't care. I don't like cloning stories either. They're not always bad, and usually I find some decent ones. People have some decent ideas on what to do with that, especially in Goosebumps with Stein's work. But no, not here. Again, I feel bad for the James actor because there's nothing for him to do at all. Dude, it just seems like this thing is written by AI. I swear to God. What else can I even talk about? The show feels cheaper this time around. Like, this episode feels cheaper, whether it be in CGI effects, whether it be in the budgetary restraints because they're using the same house set of Justin Long's house over and over and over again. A lot of this show, and BD Horror pointed this out in our Discord, a lot of this show feels like filler to me. I would say the majority of it feels like filler when it really shouldn't be. Not with the approach of every single episode used to develop each character more and more, but every episode to me feels like a filler thing, and I just think it's a poor choice all around because they don't do anything with it. These are almost 45-minute episodes, every single episode basically, and you have wasted your time every single time. That's sad. That's really sad in my opinion. The writing is bad. The cinematography is okay in this episode, I guess. The directing is bad. The CGI isn't that good. It improved here, I guess, to an extent compared to the previous couple of episodes, but it's still kind of bad in my opinion. Like, this is lesser than 2010 CGI in movies, The music is bad, as per usual. It's not like the previous episode where we had, like, Nine Inch Nails playing. I think there was even a Billie Eilish song in either this episode or episode 4. I think it was this episode, though, because it made me cringe really hard. I don't care. This episode is bad. It's a shame that they wasted so much money on this piece of crap, and that they didn't do anything with any of these actors that deserved it. Because I don't necessarily, again, I'm not really sure that they're the best actors ever, but I don't think that they're necessarily bad actors, So it's a bummer, man. I feel bad for everybody involved except for Sony, Disney, Rob Letterman, whoever the name is that you guys want me to say, because I've had people numerous times come at me saying that it's Sony that made it, not Disney. Like, that makes a difference because they all were in cahoots when they made this. They all agreed upon what they wanted to make, and here you go. It's crap. So stop trying to save one company over another, you shills. So, with all that being said, I still hate the show. Even after episode 6 last night, I still hate the show. I have no reason to defend it or even like it. And frankly, I told my friends this too. If I had not had a channel that I'd covered everything Goosebumps, I would have dropped this like a heartbeat, man. I would have never watched it again, and probably I'll never rewatch it, ever, because I despise it so deeply. This is like the ultimate sin of Goosebumps. To take the monsters, waste them, change them too, in a really poor way. Say what you will about Haunted Halloween in the first 2015 movie, but at least they did something good with Slappy. At least they had some nice things, like the gummy bear monsters, which I frankly think are better than anything I've seen in this show, in my personal opinion. I like Haunted Halloween more than this, and I would rewatch Haunted Halloween over and over again before I would sit through this ever again. And to be fair, I like Haunted Halloween. Most people don't. I don't know why, but I get some criticisms, but I don't. Anyway, episode 3... is trash, in my opinion. Now, to be fair, before everybody jumps in and calls me a bunch of names again, episode 4, I wouldn't say it's good, but it's better than the first 3 episodes, for sure. And if you haven't made it to that point in the show yet, you might like it more. Just saying. It's got its benefits overall. But it's still not good, but it's got some benefits where at least it's average, I guess. Maybe under average, just slightly. It's definitely not above average, for sure. I don't think anything in the show will be, for me personally. All that being said, though, what did you guys think about the episode overall? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments about it down in the comment section down below. I'm sorry for such negative reviews over and over again, but I also am not sorry because the show sucks and it's not Goosebumps. And I stand on that. I know a lot of people hate me for that, but it ain't Goosebumps. It's not. You can argue about changing things all you want. That's not an argument. It's not Goosebumps. It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't have the tone to it. The only thing it has is the name recognition, and that's it. And this is CW Riverdale teen fodder that nobody wanted. And yeah, you can say there are fans out there enjoying it, and yeah, they are. I'm glad, again, that some people are getting some kind of entertainment out of this. I'm assuming a lot of it's younger people than people like my age. But with that being said, I think it's awful, and I don't even want to waste another second thinking about it. Once the show's over, I'll be done. I'll never think about it again. Aside from little jabs here and there on my channel in the future, you know. But anyway, with all that being said, if I had to rate this episode on a 5-star basis, I would give it like a 1 out of 5 stars. Nothing is improved here, dude. Nothing is really improved at all. Even though the pacing is still sloppy here, at least the pacing actually has some things happening in the storyline, if there is a story, compared to episode 1 and episode 2 at least. But again, this takes place in November, and it just doesn't feel like Halloween or fall or anything. It sucks. It sucks so bad. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to me ramble about this stupid show and this stupid episode of this stupid show. And hopefully you'll get to see a nice background behind me by the time we end this series of reviews for this show. So tune in. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for the new subscribers who joined. I appreciate you for being here. Sorry about the wait on these episode reviews. I just could not bring myself to watch more or to make videos about it because of how disgusted I am with the fandom acting the way they've acted, or at least the fake fans and how they have acted. But outside of that, I'm back, I'm making content again, and I think I have some new ideas too. Some guys gave me some ideas in the comments of my Q&A community post for the 4,000 subs goal. And I have some other ideas I came up with right before the show dropped that I wanted to talk about, so I think I'll do that at some point as well. Just tune in if you're interested, and I hope to see you back. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Hopefully next time you see me, there will be some warmth in this room. I'm freezing. Goodbye, God bless you, and see you later. I've already said goodbye, so why would I see you later, too? Anyway, thank you. Catch you later.